almighty.
Oh my goodness me! That's the first time we ever had a jam. Do you realise that?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Of all of these years and all of these times we've
Yes.
seen each other, this is the first time.
Yes.
And it was very good.
It was actually quite all right for a Friday morning.
It's a Friday today.
It is Friday.
I'm sweating already.
Yes, me too.
Even though it's cold outside and rainy. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to
Thank you.
Anderson TV. I'm Pete, and I'm here today with from like a Danish brother from another Danish mother, Thor. And you're here under a different flag now.
Yes, I'm flying not the former flag of TC Electronic. Now I'm flying the new awesome flag of Universal Audio.
Exactly, and that's
Hence
why
the-
we're here, isn't
yeah.
it? Because you wanted to show us that there's a new update for the Aux box.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we use that a lot in here. We basically use it for all of our stuff. We always have it on like a backup thing.
Yeah.
When we just in case, and then we use it for attenuation and all that sort of stuff. And well, what we were waiting for is basically what you were
Yeah.
what you've kind of done now with the update. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it's actually the first real update we've done to the Aux.
Yeah.
And to be honest, whenever you put out a piece of gear, there's always, especially something that's at least partly digital.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, customers are like, oh, we want this, and it would be awesome if it did that. And
Yeah.
if there's one thing that, at least the slightly longer-haired customer group of Aux users have been waiting for, it's vintage 30 cabinets.
Yeah.
So, anything that kind of rhymes with hard rock and metal stuff, you really need that type of speaker and that type of cabinet.
Why didn't you never put that in the first place? Is there a reason for that, or because
I think
I never really missed it myself?
No,
because
I think that's exactly why. It's because when Aux was originally designed, and I totally can't take credit for any of that. I was working for another company at that time.
Yes.
But the guys who did all the awesome work that I'm now kind of taking the credit for is they really designed Aux to at least to begin with kind of focus on more of those kind of the bluesy, rootsy rock kind of
studio musician, Nashville kind of people, because
yeah.
that's where you kind of see it. Yeah.
And
I get that.
I think in particular designed it for all the old school amps that didn't have master volumes that only sound great when you crank them up. Really
Yes,
loud.
yeah,
As great as this amp sounds,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter all that much whether you crank the master volume all the way up on this thing or not, because it's more, it's more preamp distortion than it's power amp distortion. Especially when you get into metal stuff, if you play like a 5150 or a Kraken or a, a rectifier.
Yeah.
Power amp distortion is not really a thing that you worry about all that much.
No.
But if you have an old Tweed amp, or if you have like a Vox AC30, or if you have like a Super Reverb or a Plexi Marshall, you're gonna want to attenuate it.
Actually, talking about we've used it the Aux for a couple of times, where we used it on a Fender Reverb Deluxe, and we always have a problem getting the cable out. You know what I mean? You guys could come up with something like a little add-on, like a little cable, little extra add-on cable, because we always we got these little connectors and it's never great. Just a little. I'm going to take credit for that, by the way. If it comes out in a little packet on a Danish Pete connector cable.
Oh, and it's purple.
It's purple.
And it's a curly cable.
It's a curly cable. Yeah, it has to be, of course.
Yeah.
So, can you show us? Because we've got an iPad here.
Yeah.
We're basically running what you heard in the beginning there. We're not using the cabs at all. We're just having them as stands. And you've got the Slash signature demon of an amplifier running into the Aux, straight into the Apollo X8, and I'm using the new VC35 copper, running that into the other Aux, and I've got a little pedal on the floor. That's it. But there's not just some updates. There's also some pedals on the floor.
On the floor, yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, so I
So
can,
you
I can
just
sort of start
tell
out by
us,
showing
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Tell
so,
us what's going on, man.
So the new update, which is out literally just a few days ago, basically adds two main things.
Yeah.
So it adds some new caps, and we already discussed like the Vintage 30 stuff.
Yes.
We can get to the other ones a little later, but now that we sort of segued into the foot switch,
I just throw it all in there.
so basically, ever since Ox shipped, it's come with a little cool selection of studio effects.
Yeah.
So EQ, compressor, delay, and reverb.
Yeah.
But to sort of access them, you had to open up the app either on the iPad or on the Mac or PC editor.
Yeah.
Which is fine when in the studio, but if you want to use it live, like what we just did here for a jam, it's kind of annoying to have an iPad and having to, do the little thing. So basically, we enabled the foot switch jack on the back.
Yeah.
And then on the editor, you can go into a little assign page, which I'll hit here. And that will allow you to select some different options. So 1, 2, 3 button foot switches, latching mode, momentary, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically it works with, a wide selection of different foot switches.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that you can assign the effects to foot switches.
Yeah.
And I've done it super simple here. So if I just turn up, and you guys basically saw us doing this on the jam as well. So now we have just a completely, let me turn this off. So we have a dry sound, no effects on.
Oh.
Yeah. So foot switch number 2 controls delay.
Yeah.
Foot switch number 3 controls reverb. And foot switch number 1 is, I'm using the compressor in this case, not to compress. I've turned the threshold all the way up, so nothing's happening, but like I'm boosting the signal a little bit.
Yeah.
So all 3 on, it's like.
Oh!
So you have a nice little solo thing. And you can assign any of these. So if I wanted to assign all 3 of these to one button, I could do that. So it's just like my solo button and my I should really not play with this all the time, but I do it anyway.
Button.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool. Even in the studio, if you're using it, because the most people I know have got one of these in the studio.
Yeah.
And it's almost become. It's changed the way that people are recording in studios. I think that people now are getting all their old amps back out.
Yeah.
And having it. We were just talking about it earlier, because Victory do all of these small Launchbox, and they make a mount for them.
Yeah.
So a rack mount.
Yeah.
So what you could have this, and all the other different amps. So you got all the tones basically. And with an Ampede in a rack.
You just switch
and then you just have the aux, and they all hooked into that, and that's basically.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when I got my aux when I started at UA, it was so addictive, because I used to just have like 1 or 2 amps, and I play a lot of metal stuff, so I mainly just have the metal amps. But because all these tones are now suddenly available, it's like, oh man, if I buy a little 5150 mini hit, then I have the metal stuff covered, and then I'd buy like a little Vox AC4.
Yeah.
Just for the Vox tones, right? Getting like a Victory one or something. It's like, suddenly you can get all these sounds without having like a giant room and like a selection of mics and all this stuff. It's like, oh.
And you can use the headphones, or you can have one cap and you can switch between them. It's really, it's a brave new world. It's almost like pedals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are buying heads instead of
pedals. Yeah.
Instead of pedals.
Yeah.
And I used to use combos all the time, but now I'm using heads all the time.
Yeah.
And this kind of tool is just perfect for that in studio. It's such a great tool.
So the foot switch is one part, and obviously it's neat in the studio if you want to do like switch between different sounds, or if you're like a little bit lazy and you don't want to fire up the iPad or whatever. It's kind of nice to have that.
Yeah. And live as well.
Yeah, of course. Live is like probably the main use for that.
And are you selling these, or can you use any kind of foot switch?
We don't sell these, but you can use pretty much any style of foot switch. We have, this is like a passive momentary one.
Yeah.
This is an active latching one.
Yeah.
So
and you can change that in.
Yeah, and there's so many different versions, so I can't sit here and guarantee that every single one will work. But as an example, so I got my little 5150 mini head.
Yeah.
That came with like a PV foot switch thingy.
Yeah.
That works. And it actually turned out Ox is actually powering the LEDs. I didn't even know it was going to do that, but it did.
Bonus!
Yeah. So yeah.
So try.
Yeah, try whatever you have lying around, or otherwise, go to the Anderson webpage.
Yeah, and buy a foot switch. But
I'm
you
sure
probably
Pete
have
has
to...
a signature version somewhere.
There must be a purple switch latching. I've got a latching and a non-latching and a powered and a non-powered.
Yeah,
it's all up there.
All the versions.
All purple, just like, oh no more please. So new cabs.
Yeah. So we already mentioned vintage 30 stuff, and anybody who dabbles in metal and hard rock stuff will know that there's basically like the two classic versions would be like your Marshall style one, which is what we heard now, which is what this is what we have here, and this is actually what we are hearing on the that's what we heard on the Jam and stuff, but the other like classic version of that is more of like a rectifier, like the big oversized leather clad thingy that we also have in there.
Okay.
For two different flavors. And I can quickly switch between them if the guys out there want to hear this. And I'll sort of do a little bit of cheating, because typically what you do is you probably go in and you would pick some different microphones and EQ it slightly different. But just so that people can hear just what the cab does, nothing else. We'll do that, even though I'm probably say it's not ideal in terms of dialing in the perfect sound, but just to hear, this is just literally just the cab, no changes in EQ, no changes in microphone, nothing.
Yeah.
So
let's hear it.
So this is just the Marshall style cab.
Yeah.
So we'll go in and find the California V30.
Yeah, we're listening through a couple of studio monitors in here, just to say so. But that's what people were asking for.
Yeah.
And I think because the way that you are doing your software, it's not that you can't load in impulse responses.
Yeah, we can't do that. And
I personally like that. I like the interface. I like it because it's very intuitive and it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to use. I don't need to be able to move the microphone here and that degree and this degree and up that, and I don't have to have because I think there's too many IRs out there, and you got Celestion there's so many people that are doing them, and it's all great, but I personally switch off. I just want to get dial through it and then go a 121 on here, and then maybe a U87 or a 50 whatever, and I want one off axis and one on, and then I want a room mic, and that's the options. That's the options that we use in here, because when we've got a 121 and we've got a 57, and we know where to put it, and then we got some room mics. And then I'm really happy because I know that works,
Easy. The other thing I should say, without getting too super nerdy about it, is the difference. And one of the reasons why you can't load IRs in Ox is because we basically do the modeling in a different way. So this is dynamic modeling, which basically means that, if you were to do an IR, it's a snapshot of a sound at a particular moment, and it's one microphone.
Yes.
So what we do different is that if you were in the studio and you actually had somebody mic up a cabinet with, say, two microphones and a room mic, which is what you get in here, they'll be facing things that are happening. There will be, interaction between the microphones, and we model all that stuff as well. So, you can't just load an IR in there, because we sort of treat the sound in a different way.
Yeah. The way we run it, because there has been a few people have asked how we run the aux box, because I've always got it on over here. So we'll run the amp into the aux, and then because the amps are 16 ohms and the cabs are 16 ohms, we'll run an 8 ohm out into here, and then an 8 ohm out into the cab, and we'll record this and we'll record that. So we don't get any. We're not using the attenuator. Here, because we like to have just as clean as we can get, no attenuation of the amps. And I'm not sure how many people actually use it like that. You know, I mean,
no, but it's a cool way for doing recording as a backup, or you know,
exactly.
just being able to mix between two different sounds.
Exactly, but it's sometimes when we record something and when we've used overdrive distortion sounds or something, sometimes the cabinet doesn't sound great. No. So we can use the signal from the aux
box. Or
it's
it's even a way to do like, so if you wanted to play with a certain amp and you go like, well, you know, that amp actually sounds great with, say, like a Vintage 30 style cabinet, so we'll record that. But hey, I wonder what it sounds like with greenbacks.
Yeah.
Instead of having to do the whole thing twice, you can sort of, you know, you can use the aux for that.
It's a really great tool. I mean, we really appreciate having them in here. You know. Anything else?
Yeah, so I mean, just to kind of briefly mention the other cabs.
There's more.
There's actually 5 new ones.
5 new ones?
Yes.
Oh!
So we kind of went through the 2 Vintage 30 ones.
Yeah.
And all the metal guys go like, horns up.
Yeah, and then all of us guys goes,
what the hell?
Where's the greenback?
So there is actually a greenback. There's a new greenback in there, but it's a 30-watt greenback.
Okay.
So that's your AC/DC 70s rock kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then there are for the slightly more mellow guys, we have two new cabs.
Okay.
We have a 2x12 combo style cabinet, which is essentially like a Fender Twin, but with JBLs in there. D120Fs, which for anybody out there, think like crystal clean country, think jam band, Jerry Garcia,
yeah.
Think not necessarily Stevie Ray Vaughan because he didn't use 12s, he used 10s and 15s, but the same style of speaker.
Yeah.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd, if anybody knows him, would be his, 12s, like super in your face.
Dumble kind of really high.
Yes.
Hi-fi almost. Yeah.
So that's in there, which would probably sound weird with this stuff, but
you have to
it's in there.
Yeah.
And the last one, speaking of Dumble, is actually a really cool cabinet that we got our hands on. That's a 112 cab with a really unique JBL G125 speaker, which is sort of like the other one we talked about, but with a little bit of a rounded edge to it.
Yeah.
That's it's a really cool cab that's been used on some great albums. And I'd strongly recommend anybody who has an aux that to try out that cabinet, because it sort of sits in between those kind of Jensen-y classic Fender style ones and like the JBL where you're like, oh, that's like fresh mountain water in your face. It sort of sits
Mountain Dew.
Yeah. So it sort of sits in between those two, so it has a little bit of that JBL sparkly clean thing, but it still has a little bit of that rounded thing that really lends itself nice to overdrives and stuff like that as well.
Cool. So, I mean, it's really good. And then, of course, all the foot switch that works with, and and it's pretty simple to update it as well.
Yeah.
If you've got the...
We came in this morning and people was like, oh, God.
Yeah, because we haven't updated these from when we got them.
Yeah.
So they were on version 1.00. Yeah. And then there was a 1.01.
Yeah, which basically enabled over-the-air Wi-Fi instant updating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had to do that first, and I couldn't get it to work. And I was like, but then I managed to get it to work. It's simple. It's all on the website, and if you are on your iPad and you click it, it says "Get Help," and you click the help thing, and then you can see USB stick, and it's pretty simple. Yeah. It didn't take that long. No. You put it in, hold the switch in the back, easy peasy. But if you're flashing light,
If you're on one-on-one, you just press a button and it just connects to the internet and
you download the new app and it's absolutely fine. And it still looks the same. So if you know what it looks like, there's no It's not like, oh my god, it looks completely different. You know,
we changed everything.
Yeah, and I love this interface. It's so easy. I like easy things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think that's why it sounds great. Is one, and it's really easy just to flick through the cabs, tick, 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 and you're just there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god, I don't really like that. Let me load in some IR. Yeah. And I just immediately just switch off. I can't.
Yeah.
You know. Cool. Brilliant. I mean, is there anything else?
No.
Now you're the man. You know.
I've always been the man.
Yeah, you've always been the man. Well, now you kind of lost 20 kilos or something since last I saw you. I'm like half the man.
Yeah,
but still
half the man. It's because I knew I was gonna. Model for that pedal show. So I was like, oh my god, I better throw some kilos.
I can just imagine Mick going yesterday going, are you going in Anderson's tomorrow? Okay, that's on a t-shirt. That's fine. We love them, so it's no problem. Yeah. Anything new in the pipeline, or can you not talk about it?
I totally can't talk about that right now. The only thing I can say, it's awesome working for UA.
Yeah.
It's weird because working for TC, which I liked as well, of course, I was there for a long, long time. I thought that there was a lot of guitar players at TC, which there were. Yeah. You go to the UA headquarters, it's ridiculous.
Really?
It's like you go into any office, like the guy doing like the accounting. There's like 5 custom shop Les Pauls and Strats in there. Everybody is just playing. It's so awesome.
That's amazing. No, it's a great company, really, and they really come far. The last, since we started here. When we started here 4 years ago or something, was it? Like when we first got the first Apollo 8P, and it just changed how we did. And it wasn't. We just installed that, and it was just a whole new thing, whole new world. And now this, and I can imagine with getting you on board that there's going to be some pretty cool things coming in the future. No, you can't say, but
you never know.
So many things that I would like to see. Like a pro version of that, for instance.
It's super pro already.
I know. I'm not saying it's not pro, but maybe like keep that, and because this is very studio orientated. I mean, live is it can be used live, but it's a little bit more of a it does you get. Do you know what I mean?
Anyway,
it's not like rack mount and all that different stuff, So I can see, and I can maybe see some other guitar-related product in the future. I know you can't say anything, but this is this is what I would like to see from you guys, and I'm really excited about the future.
So am I, and I'll probably be back here at some point.
I hope so.
I'll be back.
I hope so. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks. And it's always a pleasure. And we got Tom in the back there as well. Tom. I don't know what he's doing, but he's. He's playing guitar.
He's playing guitar.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Go and download the update from your app store.
Yeah, if you have an Ox. If you don't have an Ox, go buy it first, then do the update.
Just go and download the update. What am I going to use this for? Is I play my guitar in it. But yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
Ta.
We'll see you soon.